Well, hello, I'm Brian Noble, CEO of Family Policy Institute of Washington.
And I'm Brad Payne, President of FPIW Action.
A couple of disclaimers before we get started. Nothing in this video should be considered an endorsement of a candidate, nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW Action. It's simply a public service to meet and greet the candidate. Also, this will be pre-recorded and placed on several platforms of FPIW and FPIW Action. Brad?
All right, Steve, I get the first question. Pretty easy. Three parts. If you would tell everybody your name and the position you're running for, and then follow that up with a little bit of background on you, and if you're willing to share a little bit about your family.
Sure. Well, I'm Steve Haroldson Minnich, and I'm running for position one in Pend Oreille County on the Commissioners Board. My middle name used to be Hugh. That was my grandfather's first name. My dad passed away in 2008, and about 10 years later, I wanted to honor him by changing my middle name. His first name was Harold. I went by Haroldson. So Steve Haroldson Minnich, and I use that middle name when I'm writing books and co-hosting radio shows, etc. So just before I get into my family, I'll just share a little bit about that. I have, this was back when I was using the Steve Minnich name, and I wrote one chapter in this book, 8 Perspectives on Prosperity Economics. I also wrote a chapter in a book that was kind of focused on Kevin Harrington. He was one of the original sharks on Shark Tank. And I wrote one chapter in that book. And then this book, pretty much wrote the whole thing with some help from researchers and copywriters, et cetera, et cetera. And that book is Building a Solid Foundation for True Wealth. This was a test run. The book was never published. However, we are in the process of doing a revised second edition, which will be published. And I should have that revised second edition done relatively soon. Most of the work has already been done. Sandy and I have been married for 48 years. We have 6 grandchildren, 5 granddaughters, 1 grandson, a 44-year-old son, 43-year-old daughter, and a 25-year-old son. So it was
Excellent.
interesting becoming parents again in our mid-40s, but it probably kept me younger than maybe I would have been. So I was a trained opera singer, and I went into music teaching, taught in public schools and private schools for nearly 30 years. At that same time, I was also a singing entertainer in the Washington Air National Guard Band of the Northwest. I also played tuba, baritone horn, and French horn. And I taught 14 years at Cusick School, a little bit less than half of my teaching career, and built a band program. And then in 2001, the band program and choir program was taken away because we lost an important levy. So that's what happened, partly, I think, due to the losses in the stock market in 2001, 2, and 3. One of the classes that I was given to teach in place of music was business math and personal finance. I discovered that I had just an absolute phenomenal interest in finance. And I was like, why didn't I do that my whole life and just do music on the side, right?
Yeah.
But when I retired from teaching in 2007, I went into financial, it was tax-free retirement planning or
Mm.
tax-reduced retirement planning, and taught classes at the community college, Spokane Falls Community College, and also North Idaho College. It was a class to the public, 55 to 70-year-olds getting ready for retirement. I also did a lot of research, and that's where we used this book or the contents of the book in the class as an online resource, and then it turned into the book in 2015. I had a radio show on 590 KQNT and other radio stations, also one in Hawaii. And I had various different co-hosts during that time, but it was from about 2010 to about 2018. So that's kind of the long and short of it. I was in financial services from 2007 until May of 2023. And so, yeah, that's the
That's
long and short of
awesome.
it.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us and
Sure.
allowing us to get to know you. What is motivating you to run for office and specifically county commissioner?
I felt that the current incumbent, I'm assuming I can say his name,
Sure.
John Gentle, was in office for the wrong reasons. There's a lot of drama that happens around politics, but everyone who I've spoken to, without exception, recognizes that John sadly had a conflict of interest. Now, whether it was a true conflict of interest or simply the appearance of a conflict of interest, that's for John to know. But in our county guidelines, even the appearance of a conflict of interest is not allowed, and there's an obvious appearance of a conflict of interest. So that's the primary reason why I decided to run. But that's really why I ran as a commissioner. I really wanted to get into politics because I've groused and moaned and groaned for so many years. And my wife said, well, why don't you just do something about it?
There you go.
So I did.
There you go.
Well, Steve, let me ask the next question, kind of a two-part question. One, if you could give us like your top two issues or concerns, and then explain to us what you'd hope to accomplish in office if you're elected.
Right. Well, in Washington State, as you probably know, we have the Growth Management Act. And maybe it works for big counties, I don't know, but it doesn't seem to work at all for small counties. And it's restrictive to our property rights and the free development of our own property. Brian Danzel was one of the individuals who was very key in getting small counties the back door to getting out of the Growth Management Act. And we would like to do the same here for Pend Oreille County. We missed it barely because a couple of mayors of the incorporated cities here in Pend Oreille County decided to vote for the Growth Management Act here in our county. And if they hadn't voted for it, then we would also be out already. So that's one of the key issues. And then the other two really kind of go together, and that is affordable housing and good paying jobs. I've already contacted a company that wants to bring a manufacturing factory to our county that would employ about 100 individuals. And they'll be manufacturing, I guess you could kind of think of it as Legos in a way, because it will be panels that can be put together in a variety of different ways. And the panels will have the electricity and the water already in them. They can be hoisted into place with a crane, not counting the slab, which would contain the electrical and the plumbing as well, and would be a heated floor. The walls, the ceiling, and the roof can go up in 2 days.
Wow.
So by reducing the amount of time it takes to build the structure, and they can be a variety of different things by putting the pieces and parts together in a different way. It could be a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 1 floor, 2 floors, so that type of thing. And that would bring in new people to our county. And since I've already started that ball rolling, that's an obvious process that I want to accomplish and complete.
Excellent. Well, FPIW and FPIW Action provided you with our 18 policies or issues that we continually work on, everything from homelessness, legal immigration, environmental stewardship, and so on, so forth. Any of those that you would like to discuss today?
Sure. There's actually a couple. I was on the committee to rewrite our Washington Republican Party platform. And I also rewrote a couple of the planks of our county platform. One of those was the sanctity of life. The other was education. And both of those things are very closely held to me. The opportunities that we have as county commissioners might limit, I don't know. I'm going to find out how I can have some impact in both of those areas in our own county. But homelessness is a big deal. And as a conservative constitutional Christian who happens to vote Republican because it's the closest I can find to the way I believe, we have been called to take care of the widows and orphans, the homeless. We need to have big hearts for those who are struggling through life. So I've been a office administrator and project coordinator for an investment company that buys land and develops storage facilities. I've been doing that for about a year and a half now, well, coming up on 2 years. And we are in the process right now of selling one of our pieces of property to a nonprofit that is going to be putting together a hub for getting food out to 4 or 5 other food banks here in northeastern Washington State, and they'll also have a food bank there in Elk, Washington. So we have hearts to help and serve others, and those are the big things I want to do. I want to make sure that our county is serving the public, not being served by the public. Our taxes are way too high on our property here in our county, and we've got to bring those costs down for people that are struggling. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, Steve, thank you. Very interesting. Pleasure to listen to you and hear about your background. And so we just thank you for taking the time to be with us today and sharing a little bit about all that you have planned, and we wish you luck.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And God willing, I'll be the next county commissioner for position 1 in Pend Oreille County. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, I'm Brad Payne with FPIW Action.
And I'm Brian Noble with FPIW. A friendly reminder that nothing in this video is considered an endorsement of the candidate, nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW Action. Like we like to say around here, love your neighbor by faithfully stewarding the public square. God bless.